Hola guys and girls, and welcome to a new Digimon TCG deck showcase video. This time we are gonna actually change up the color because my three deck profile videos so far were of the color blue, which is as of now my favorite color to play around with. But this time we are gonna look at my current black version of Millennium Turbo. And yeah, basically just go over the deck. Of course, it's quite known that black is definitely not one of the best colors right now, with only 1.0 out. With 1.5 out, that might change quite a bit. As of now, I guess from all the colors, like the second worst, like yellow is at the bottom and then black comes next, and the other ones are all a little bit better. But I still like to play black here and there. Of course, you get the surprise matchup. Not many people play against that, so they sometimes don't really know what card to expect and how to play with it. But in general, I have to say it's probably one of the weaker ones, but this is still a fun deck to play, so let's go over how it's constructed. So we started with the Tamers, and we start up with the best one, of course, 4 times as of now, which is the Oppoinents, which has the inherited effect. If a Digimon has Reboot, it gets plus 1000 DP on your turn. And Digimon with Reboot and Blocker are kind of the thing in black, at least as of now. So there's a lot of mons which can get this boost, either through Reboot having Reboot themselves, or getting that through inheritable effect from other Digimon, like Agumon we'll see later on. But this is the best Tamer black has right now, so we play 4 of them. At least for this kind of deck. Of course, if you play Diaboromon black, you want the Tsumamon 4 times. But speaking of Tsumamon, we have one of Tsumamon. In this deck, we're definitely going to play 5 Tamers, since matches with black usually tend to go up long, because like I said, it is the color with the most blockers. So games might drag out quite a bit, so you definitely want 5 Tamers in the deck, and Tsumamon is the next best you can have here. Has the inherent black, while you have another Digimon with the same name. Digimon gets plus 2000 DP on your turn, which actually does happen quite often. It's not as consistent as Oppoinents, but it's definitely an effect which comes into play sometimes. So yeah, that's why we do have one Tsumamon in the Tamer slot as well. Now going on with the rookies, like I said, it is the Milleniumon Turbo list. We want to digivolve up to Millennium as fast as possible, so it has the rather standard ratio, so we do get our evolution lines properly done. So we do play 14 rookies, which is like the standard number you see in most decks, and we start up with 4 of the 2-cost rookie, which is the Agumon. And yeah, since black didn't have a starter deck, they only have 1 2-cost rookie as of now. The standard vanilla 2-cost 3000 DP Digimon, no inheritable effect, nothing too crazy here. He's just the vanilla rookie you play in the deck to have like a 2-cost to play on turn 2 if the opponent starts. You can digivolve something and then drop the Agumon on the field. We play 4 of those. And then the most important rookie which black has is, of course, the Toy Agumon. This you definitely want to play 4 times. He is 3 cost, only 1000 DP, but he has a great inheritable effect of giving your Digimon Reboot. Because like I said, the Reboot line is the one thing black has as of now, plus Diaboromon of course. But the Reboot line is one very great tool black has as of now, and it all starts with Toy Agumon giving your Digimon Reboot. There's a Oppoinents under that, which already gets guaranteed to plus 1000 boost on your Digimon, which is nice. And yeah, he's the best rookie black has as of now, so you definitely want to see him on your Tamer, because obviously hard playing with 3 costs is not as great. But yeah, now to the next rookies. I actually play quite the variety of rookies here. Usually you would see another one 4 times, but I actually play 3 different kinds of rookies 2 times. And let's start with Chumon, which is a fun one. He's hard to play 3 cost 1000, so pretty weak. But he has the cool effect of that your opponent can't gain memory except via Tamer effect. So if you look at all the different variants, there we go, English is hard, sorry. Blue can get memory, for example, through Hammer Sparks, don't work with Chumon on the field. With Memory Lenders, don't work with Chumon on the field. The inherited effect of the Gomamon, don't work with Chumon. The delete effect of Leomon doesn't work with Chumon. Especially in the blue matchup, you want this guy on the field, you don't want to digivolve over it. In other matchups, he's not as important. In red, he stops the Metal Greymon inheritable, that if it gets blocked, the opponent gets free memory. Chumon on the field denies that. There's a lot of things Chumon can deny in the right matchup, but in some matchup he's like useless. It's like the effect doesn't matter, so that's why you only play 2 of them. Still can be a very great tool, especially if you face blue in a match. So yeah, 2 of that. Then I did decide to put 2 of the rookie blockers in here as well, which is, like I said, all the other rookies are all 3 cost for black. So we have the 3 cost 3000 DP Gotsumon blocker. This card is awesome in like matches versus Rookie Rushing, for example, where you want to have your blockers. Again, the blocker out turn 1 on the field, even if you're a second player, can be pretty nutty versus more aggressive decks, like I said. Because versus rookies, he most of the time trades, barring the few 4000 ones. And other than that, he's still nice to just stop attack here and there. Probably my next rookie you don't have to put in the deck. You probably want to have 4 of Gotsumon in the deck most of the time. But for my variant, I actually decided to put 2 Caramon in the mix as well, due to the inheritable effect that when you play another Digimon, same card as this Digimon, trigger draw 1. It does say play, so you have to have this on the field, something other, and then if you hard play something, you get to draw a card. This sometimes comes into play with Numemon, which we will see later on, because it's a champion level if you devolve over that. So if you play another Numemon hard, you get to draw a card. And he gives you a little bit of card draw at least, which black lacks, like which most colors really lack, to be fair. But sometimes he does come into play. That's why I have 2 Caramon as of now. Most of the time, I want to say you can probably switch it out for Gotsumon, so you have 4 of the Gotsumon, which probably make the most sense. But I like having 2 Caramon in the mix as well, because most of the time you're gonna Digivolve over Gotsumon, so having him on the field of himself doesn't really matter too much. But the draw effect is sometimes can come into play and very handy. That's why I took Caramon on the field as well. Like I said, sadly it is play, so obviously you don't want to really have this inheritable effect on a ultra level, on a level 5 Digimon, then play another level 5 Digimon hard to actually get the effect off. So yeah, that's why I have 2 Caramon in the mix as well. But yeah, now going on to level 4, we do play 12 there. We have 3 different level 4s, we play 4 times. And first, of course, we have the blocker right here, which is the Gardramon, which is 7000 TP, which is, of course, important, because that means he's stronger than every other level 4 currently in the game. So you can block all of them and trade, or not trade for all of them, but basically stay alive. The one downside is, of course, this line right here. This Digimon can't attack. Usually all the blockers can attack, but you lose 2 memory in the process. This just can't attack at all for 1000 TP boost in power. I think most of the times you're not a fan of that, because sometimes when you want to push for lethal, you have a Gardramon on the field, you can't go for lethal. He just sticks there and keeps you alive. The 1000 extra power can be nice in some matchups in more aggressive decks, but in more drawn out matches where you kind of develop the board and then at some point want to push for lethal, it can be kind of a liability not be able to attack this guy. But he is the blocker. Of course you want to play your level 4 blockers 4 times, so there we go, Gardramon 4 times right here. Not that black has that much of options in the level 4 slot. Gardramon is definitely one of the better ones. So now going over the next level 4, we of course have 4 times the aforementioned Numemon. He is a great hard play target as well, because he's only 3 cost, but he is already level 4. That's the nice thing. Is this he obviously only has 3000 TP, only 1 Evo cost, which is pretty nice as well. This card is just there to be evolved over. He's himself, he does nothing. He's just there to be like this one step between your level 3 and your level 5. And like I already mentioned, if you have a Caramon under a Numemon, you can actually for only 3 play another Numemon and you get to draw a card. So this is like kind of the main engine with that. And yeah, he's just there to make your deck to evolution line a bit quicker, because that's one problem with black. They have good rookies, they have good level 4s, but especially level 5 slot is very expensive. So having like a very cheap option on the level 4 slot is pretty nice in Numemon right here. And then next up, of course, we have to keep our reboot line alive. So that's why we have 4 times the reboot Greymon. He doesn't have reboot himself, but he has the inheritable effect, that's why I'm calling that. While the Digimon has reboot, it gains jamming as well. So that, I mean, if you have Detroit Agumon under that and Digivolve further, keep the reboot alive, he will gain all kinds of benefits, and through this Greymon he will gain jamming. He is only 4 cost as well, so potentially with Caramon you can draw him as well, but of course Numemon is the better target for that. But yeah, one problem is of course only the 4000 TP, that means he is still in Volcanic Dramon range. So you want, like I said, these 2, you want to Digivolve over them as fast as possible. There's the Gardramon you probably want to keep on the field since it's a strong blocker. Can even trade with some of the level 5 mons. But yeah, that's the level 4s for that. Now let's go on level 8s, and that's pretty straightforward as well. We have 2 different level 8s, we play 4 times. And first of all, we do of course play our reboot line Metal Greymon. This time he has reboot himself, so he doesn't need to try Agumon to gain all the benefits, and has of course the inheritable effect. While this Digimon has reboot, it gains security attack +1. This is always nice since you don't need other reboot Digimon. Already this together gives you 8000 reboot attacker, which has jamming since this one has reboot himself. So even if you have something else than Triargamon under that, so, and yeah, he is sadly free cost. He does have 7,000 power himself. But I just said 8,000. Okay, sorry for that. But yeah, it's a reboot line. Like I said, it's one of the good things Black has going. So we definitely want to play 4 of that, and that's Milleniumon. Especially security check can come in handy because matches with Black usually tend to draw go on because of the multitude of blockers we have in that color. And so most of the time you will have one big attacker, and the rest is there to slow the opponent down with like Chumons and blockers and stuff like that. And having the one big attacker having +1 security tag is super nice because it ends the game before the opponent can go too wide, basically, or too high, and he just keeps destroying your blockers. You have to block him. It just makes that you can close out the game pretty fast with security tag +1. So this is definitely very important to have in the deck. Then next up, they have some options in level 5 slot. You can go with the Mega Dramon, which is just a 9,000 vanilla free cost Digivolution cost Black level 5, which is if you want to go more aggressive. If you want to go a little bit more staldy, we of course have the Andromon, which is the 7,000 DP blocker level 5 with free cost. It kind of always hurts to digivolve a Gardramon into an Andromon since it has the same DP, it has blocker as well. The only benefit you gain is you get to attack with it as well. But if you digivolve it over other things, it's definitely still worth it because it keeps stalling out the opponent. And yeah, it just gives you, the more blockers you have with Black, the better. And that's why I decided to go with 4 Andromon here. Sometimes you want to switch out maybe 2 for 2 Mega Dramon if you want to go more aggressive. But with all my play testing, having more Andromons is always nice. So you can always have one blocker on the field, stop the opponent, and keep chipping your opponent with your one big swinger attacker, with preferably has security attack +1. But yeah, that's Andromon there. Now going over to level 6 slot, we play 6 Digimon right there, and one of course is 4 times the 12k vanilla high Andromon. He's just there to only cost 2 to digivolve into, it has 12,000 DP, and he's just there to get to Milleniumon as fast as possible. 12,000 DP is pretty nice as well, especially if you get to give it reboot with the Triargamon, and since it's jamming plus security tag, so you can gain a lot of things if you have the reboot line alive, just by the Triargamon under that, and then all the benefits. So he can be a very intimidating attacker for the opponent, and he is very cheap. So he allows you, if your opponent gets you to 2 memory, you just play the high Andromon, you can attack with it if it has jamming or not, depends on your taste, and then put Milleniumon over that and still have the strong attacker with removal. But yeah, that's why we play 4 times the high Andromon. It's just there, like I said, to get to Milleniumon as fast as possible. That's yeah, not much to talk about. It's the 12k vanilla beater. Other colors have as well. And then we play 2 times, probably the favorite of all the Black level 6 for most of it is the Black Wargreymon, which is 11,000 blocker and has reboot himself. So this is obviously for most reboot lines the last target. So you get security attack on that, you get jamming on that, he has blocker, he has reboot. You can repeatedly attack, he will stay alive barring a Gaia Force or something in the security due to jamming. He will check multiple securities and he'll still have him there as a very strong blocker. So some decks focus totally on this, so without Milleniumon or only a few Milleniumon, then you probably want to put more of the Wargreymons in your deck. I'm fine with 2, mostly because I only have 2. If I have more, like even if I have 4 of them, I would probably still stick with the 4 high Andromon, because this guy still is very prone to removal, be it via Milleniumon, be it Cocytus Breath, via Gaia Force or similar stuff. With Milleniumon, it's just safe in that regard. But yeah, that's Wargreymon. Or the other 2, very, like he can win games on its own. Similar to Blue Metal Garurumon in Blue, you don't need to get your level 7 beater to win the game. Sometimes your level 6 Wargreymon is already enough to win the game if he has the proper inheritable effects. But yeah, that's Black Wargreymon. And then of course at level 7 we do have Milleniumon. I play 3. Because I only have 3. I would play a 4th one probably in this deck because it is mainly focused around that, and Milleniumon is super nasty. If you don't know the effect, of course when digivolving you can return one of your opponent's Digimon at the bottom of their deck and trash out the illusion cards, so great removal which removes everything. There's nothing which protects Digimon from that effect yet. So it's guaranteed removal. Even opposing Milleniumon will get destroyed because, as you can see with the next text, getting rid of this thing is actually pretty annoying, because if this card is Digivolution cards, you may play this card from your trash without paying its memory cost. So you get a free, if you destroys it, you just remove all the Digivolution cards and Milleniumon comes back on the field. So he is very persistent on the board, and with 30,000 TP, potentially some boost due to reboot and having multiple copies and stuff like that, he is usually your big attacker which keeps chipping at the opponent's security while the blockers keep you safe, and then slowly but surely you will win the game. So yeah, that's Milleniumon. Like I said, I would probably put a fourth one in here, but as of now I only have 3, so I play with 3. And yeah, that's the end target of the game, to have one Milleniumon at least on the field, remove something big for the opponent, and then keep chipping at the opponent's security while our blockers keep us alive. Then to our Tamers, we do play 2 times the Black Tie, which gives us guaranteed to free memory, which is important mainly because we can get from our level 5 guaranteed to our level 6 and then onto Milleniumon in 1 turn as well. And he has the nice effect, of course, of giving all our Black Digimon plus 1000 DP on the opponent's turn, which does help our blockers in being even stronger, stalling our opponent even more so he doesn't want to check into some stuff and just lose its Digimon. And yeah, just helps with the strategy. Even though having multiple ties on the field is nice because the 1000 DP boost stacks, I like to play only 2 of them because it can get a bit clunky to have too many of these in hand when you want to rather have your Digimon to evolve into. That's why I decided to only run 2. Before I did run 3, but I think at least 2 is enough. Gives you the memory more reliably. You get, since you start with at least 3 memory, that's the effect of most of the 4-cost Tamers, or all of them even. And yeah, the 1000 DP boost on your opponent's turn is pretty nice as well. But yeah, that's tie for you. Now, option cards, we actually play a good amount of option cards. We played 2 times, it's not quite removal, but the pseudo removal of black. We played 2 times the Infinity Cannon, which triggers Digimon 4 for 6 memory, activates in the security as well, which is important. It is not removal, because Digimon will always at least keep a rookie on the board. So if your opponent has lethal on you, this will not help you with removing a lethal. What this does, it slows the opponent down quite a bit if you can. If you can Digivolve an Omnimon down back to its rookie or its level 4, the opponent loses a lot of momentum, and that's what you want. You want to slow the opponent down with the deck, with this deck. And like I said, with one big beater which sticks on the field, be it something with jamming, be it the Milleniumon, keep chipping at the security, and you just keep your opponent low and slow him down. That's where the Infinity Cannons come into play. That's what they do. They have a big beater which gets over your blockers repeatedly. With this, you can make sure he gets weak again, and yeah, doesn't get over your blockers repeatedly, and you keep slowing down the game. That's why I have 2 Infinity Cannons. Like I said, removal is what black needs, like true removal for sure. So we only have really Milleniumon in that case. That's why I would want to put a 4th one in there. I would probably swap out 1 Infinity Cannon for another Milleniumon if I could. But yeah, that's why I play 2 of them. And then we do play 3 Spider Shooter, which is the weaker version. Only 3 cost, but it only triggers Digimon 1. And where this comes into play, a lot of times actually, is if you have the tie on board, you have guaranteed your free memory. And with this you can Digivolve the blocker of the opponent. If the blocker has Digivolution sources, you just Digivolve him, the blocker is gone, and that's in very many games opened up the way for my win, because I got rid of the opponent's blocker for only 3 memory, which with tie on the board I have guaranteed. So that's why I play Fear of him. He activates in the security as well, and he helps with slowing down the opponent obviously as well, removing most of the times they level 6 or higher Digimon and making them so weak that our blockers can keep us alive again. And yeah, that's the Spider Shooter for you, and that's the deck in total. This is 55 cards with the Tamers, and yeah, that is the deck as I'm playing it right now. Like I already mentioned, black is definitely not the strongest color right now, but still very fun to play. So yeah, I encourage you all to try it out if you have the cards, of course. Like I said, it is a bit of a struggle to get cards as of now. But yeah, if you want to play black, I think this is one of the most fun versions to do. But yeah, that's all for this video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, comment, subscribe, you know the deal. Hit me on Twitter, Facebook, all the links in the description, and I will see you another time. Ciao!